Hey, it's Mike. Welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. I don't know where my where my phone is. It's probably underneath a whole bunch of stuff. But we'll find it later. Okay, first things first. Current blood sugar is 7.2. Hasn't changed much from the last video. Time in range, or blood sugars, were stable again. I don't know, nights, I'm pretty damn good. I just settle in and sleep. And ever since I've been controlling my blood sugars, I've actually enjoyed sleep. I used to wake up tired. It still takes me a moment to get going. But we're all good. Time in range. Let's take a look. Let's go back one. 86%. The green means I was in range for most of the day. Yay. Doesn't give much time here. Time in range, and if we go down, 14%, 86. Not too much difference from yesterday. This has a different one down at the bottom. It says Smart Guard 100%, which means my sensor was working for 100% of yesterday. Awesome. And now I find my phone. Of course I do. Today I want to discuss what led up to my diagnosis. This isn't going to be the diagnosis stories, but looking back at it now, what led up to my diagnosis. I'll be right back. This channel is provided for informational purposes only. Contact your physician for any diagnostic or treatment plan. Okay. During my grade 6 and 7 year, I was always the fat kid. I was always very hefty. I didn't really do much. So those who would say, you're not really helping yourself. Well, I don't know. I was the fat kid. I know things change, right? But looking back at it, I was sedentary. That did not play a role. I would have gotten diabetes anyway. There were an awful lot more of stress coming on in my life. I was going from a relatively small elementary school to a larger high school. And that really was going to be a big change for me. In Vancouver, you went from an elementary school straight into a secondary school. So it was really a middle school and a high school combined, even though we were all just students there. That was a big change in my life. I got a condition called impetigo, which is right here. I have a picture of me. If I can find it, I'll put it in, but if you don't see it, of me going like this over a sore. I was fat, and when I've written about this, I went in a red Star Wars t-shirt to my first day of school, and when I got home, I looked at it, and I was fat. For that age, it was bad. I came home, changed, and 1 month later, I was chubby. I wasn't fat anymore. That's how insidious type 1 diabetes can be. You can lose weight quickly. And I can remember one of the first articles I ever read I think it was called back then it was called the CDA, but the magazine was called Diabetes Dialogue. And in there, they wrote an article, I believe it was from there, about teenage girls not taking their insulin so they could slim down. Well, that's wonderful. Not. Slimming down and not taking care of yourself makes you look like crap. I hate to say this, but it does. And diabetes was and still is, when it's undiagnosed or not taken care of properly, can make you look so much more out of it. You're just drawn. You're thirsty. The negatives another negative besides being bad for your health, a strain on your body, and you looking like crap, is once you get back on your insulin, it all comes back. All that weight, because what you're really getting rid of is water weight. You're not losing the weight. You're not going to have that svelte body. No. One of the positives, I know we just did positives yesterday, but one of the positives of coming out of DKA was that I had always lost some weight. But I didn't go out searching for it. I didn't say, well, you're going to be a little fat guy. I didn't utilize the insulin to lose weight. And you're playing with a very negative, you're doing negative forces. If you don't control your diabetes, if you let someone who's a diabetic and doesn't necessarily know about it not seek medical aid, that's going to be a problem. Looking back on it over the years, I wish I would have told someone. I wish I would have said, hey, you know what? I'm really not feeling that great. I'm drinking all the time. I'm getting up all night, going to the bathroom. I can remember waking up and all night and having to go to the washroom. And I thought it was the stress of opening up, going to a new school. Yeah, it was a big time, but I don't think that contributed. I should have said, you know what? I'm always tired, but there were an awful lot of times I would complain of things. Oh, you got a stitch in your side. And my mother would say, oh, that was growing pains. So I don't know how much that really played a role, but she was the one that picked up on my type 1 diabetes. I was drinking water, and it was a bingo night. And this is as far as we're going with diagnosis story. And when she left, I was drinking water. When I came back, I was drinking water. Next day, I was in the doctor's office. I got to sleep in, but within 24 hours, I was in the hospital. Thinking back on it now, the doctor probably would have said, take him to emergency. Knowing what we know now and how vital it is that we take control and get our bodies working better, we probably would have gone in through emergency. Well, I wasn't sick. Well, I was sick, but I wasn't deadly sick. There are stories I've heard where people have been worse off than I ever was. And I think I was on knocking at the door of DKA. I probably was showing, I was showing ketones. We had to take a urine test, a urine sample with us to the doctor, and he tested, and it came back saying ketones. And he said, oh, don't worry. If you lose weight or whatever, that could cause ketones. Okay. But now looking back, yeah, it can cause ketones, but we were large. And I still don't know how much longer I probably would have lasted. I can remember heading home from school, whether it be lunchtime or after school, only getting halfway, and my mouth was so dry. The tongue was cracking. I found a house, and this was October, so the summer weather was starting to go, and they had a faucet with a hose, and I would drink water, and I drink a lot of water to get me back up to school. And then finally there was a cup there, and every morning this lady would put on a new cup for me. And to this day, I thank her. I don't know what, if I had gotten this when it was pouring down with rain every single day, I don't think I would have made it. I was so dehydrated. But that's the part of, I think we all, like I said, I wasn't in full-blown DK. I wouldn't know what that was like till years later, when you're revisiting everything you ate. But you know what? There were so many indicators. Now that I know, I felt like I should have picked up and said, hey, you know what? I don't feel well. But I didn't. And I let it go too long. And thanks to my mother, I'm here today, 47 years later. And with that, I hope you have a super day. And if you're showing any of the signs, drinking excessively, like you can't keep hydrated at all, you're having weight loss, you're always fatigued, especially after, like for me, it was a virus. Sometimes it just shows up, but get help if you're a younger person. Tell your parents. Have a great day. Bye now. My email is mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com. mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com.